Hello everyone, and welcome to another Guild Wars 2 video. Today I'm going to try and outline what has happened up till this point in the Flame and Frost Prelude and Gathering Storm sections of the Living Story. First, I'm going to go ahead and read what Guild Wars put out for the description of the Prelude itself. The sky falls and the ground shakes in the lands of the north. Char and Norn refugees crawl from the wreckage of their homes in the Wayfarer foothills and Diessa plateaus, struggling to find shelter in the south. The call goes out for volunteers to assist the victims in this time of need, when earth and sky seem to have become the enemy. Flame and Frost Prelude is a prologue to a multi-stage narrative that will bring big changes to Guild Wars 2 in the months to come. The form this took in the game itself was that there are now refugees traveling from around the northern sections of the zone to the south, where the capital city's entrances are for each of their zones. The only real achievement we had for this section was to give the refugees 75 acts of assistance. These acts of assistance took the form of lighting the campfires by the memento collectors, turning in mementos from dead refugees to those collectors, repairing the road signs along the road, and resurrecting and healing the refugees you found traveling along the path to the capital cities. There were also events within both zones where steam geysers would open up and you had to kill in Wayfarer ice elementals in Diessa Plateau Earth and plug the geysers up with the chunks of the elementals that were left behind. And these also gave credit for acts of assistance, plus show that there is actual effects happening on the environments of the zone from whatever is happening. At the beginning of the month, we had no idea what was causing all of these refugees to be displaced as they were. The only hint we had at the start was, of course, the fact that the Flame and Frost are involved. And we also had the hint of there was a Norn merchant, a dead Norn merchant, left at the very north end of Wayfarer foothills. Unlike the refugee bodies scattered throughout the zone, this body did not give you a memento, but instead gave you an examine option. And when you chose to examine this person's body much closer, it'll say that the cause of death is unclear. There are burn marks, which doesn't really tell you anything different besides fire. But there are also trails of blood draining from the ears, and yet there are no other sign of damage from a blunt weapon. This is the first time that theories of the Dredge were able to come up, as they are the only race that we know of, really, that uses sonic sorts of weapons, which could cause an injury such as this without using a blunt force object. But let's get back to the refugees themselves. In both cities that the refugees have been traveling to, there were refugee camps that were set up. The first week, there was not really anything going on there. It was just random non-named refugees and a refugee coordinator basically saying, I have no idea what's going on. Each week throughout the first month of the event, a new refugee was added to the camp that was named and that you could talk to. The first refugees did not really tell you much besides just outlining story more. The second ones gave the first hint of who could cause it, in that a Norn refugee said he heard someone yell about Dredge, and the Char refugee said something about Flame Legion. This is confirmed by the refugee coordinators on the last week of the month when they say they have gotten the stories together of all of the refugees there, and that it is the Flame Legion and the Dredge working together to cause this. Now on to the Gathering Storm phase of this live event. At the beginning of this phase, your character receives a letter from your race's prospective Destiny's Edge member. As a Sylvari player myself, I received a letter from Kaith saying that Ritlock and Air have requested help, and that she cannot go herself, so she's sending me and asked me to go to the Shiver Peaks, because something there is killing the Norn and Char on either side of the mountains. I'll also very quickly read what ArenaNet put up on their website for the start of this event. The situation worsens for the citizens of Wayfarer foothills and Diessa Plateau. Volunteers have eased the burden, but more refugees hobble down from the Shiver Peaks. The storm there gains momentum, but the forces of good are beginning to rally. They're sending their heroes to defend the land and its people. Someone must hold back the gathering storm. During this phase of the live event, the Dredge and the Flame Legion are now openly attacking the Norn and the Char in Wayfarer foothills and Diessa Plateau. They are not simply simultaneous attacks on both zones by one of each race, but yet alliances of the two races, in other words, Dredge and Flame Legion together attacking both zones. This confirms the theory that the Dredge and the Flame Legion are actually allied with each other and not just attacking both of the areas at the same time. These attacks take the form of events that happen every so often in certain areas of the zones. These events take the form of either 3 or 4 portals opening up on like a settlement or camp, and Dredge and Flame Legion attacking from them in waves over and over. These events can also take place from either a solitary Flame Legion portal appearing, or a solitary Dredge personnel carrier appearing, and Flame Legion and Dredge coming out of both to attack you. Now, the achievements from this section of the live event are the Lost and Found and the Gathering Storm achievements. Now, the Gathering Storm achievement is rather simple in that you just simply kill 150 invaders, which are the NPCs that are spawning in these last events that we've been talking about. The Lost and Found achievement is to find a specific item that a refugee has left behind when they were fleeing from the Dredge and the Flame Legion assaults. Now, at the time of this video, there has only been 1 week that has gone by, and that means there are only 2 refugee possessions that you can find at this time. It is likely that over the following weeks of this month, more refugees will arrive in the camps that will require their items returned to them. As it stands right now, you cannot turn in the same item more than once to a refugee. Once you have picked it up one time, that's it for that item. As the refugee camps have gotten larger, some of the refugees have decided to move from their cities to Lion's Arch. This new refugee camp in Lion's Arch is where the first 2 refugees, and I'm guessing the late ones that will come in later, are located that have lost their items. The refugees in Lion's Arch are being assisted with food and water by the Consortium, who are also offering to build them houses on South Sun Cove. Now, if you don't remember who the Consortium are, they are the people who went to South Sun Cove in the first place and caused the whole Karka dilemma to even happen. I personally took a visit out to South Sun Cove to check to see if they'd actually started building houses. I did not find any changes that pertained especially to the refugees themselves, but I did notice a few changes to the NPCs that are present on the island. At Point Pride, which is a very northeast waypoint when you get into South Sun Cove, there are several tourists there swimming in the water and walking around at the beach. Pearl Islet, if you remember, was originally where the Consortium had set up their camp for tourist operations. When you came here during the Karka event, and there was only one event there to gather some random items that were left behind on the island. Now, however, the Consortium has reclaimed this island, and it is now full of tourists. They are also now continuing to build the Asuran portal that is located on the island, and I'm guessing that that will eventually be linked back with the mainland in some way. I very seriously doubt that the Consortium is helping the refugees out of the good of their heart, and so I expect that either they are more involved than they seem with these events, or that we will have to go to South Sun Cove itself for some part of this live event. And that is all I could find that is happening so far at the Flame and Frost live event. If you guys know of something that I missed, please leave a comment below telling me what it is. I'll try to put anything that I've missed and I realize I missed in an annotation somewhere in the video so that you'll at least know what's happened there. I plan on trying to do videos like these for all of the living stories. I'm not sure if they're going to take the same format as this one. If there's some big event or big boss, I might do it a live commentary just straight through it. But if it's something like this, where it's stretched out over a whole month and over a whole zone, I'll try to put together a compilation video just showing you what's happened. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see any other Guild Wars 2 videos, please check out my channel. I'll keep doing these. And I hope that's helped any of you that weren't here to see the live event yourself. And so, until next time, guys.